In the far reaches of the Andromedas sector, where countless star systems revolved around ancient suns, the Galactic Alliance prepared for a moment that would shape the future of the entire galaxy. Every 50 years, the royal heir of the powerful Zorathian Empire selected a personal champion, someone who would stand beside the throne as protector, strategist, and symbol of strength. This tradition was older than most civilizations in the galaxy. Warriors from hundreds of worlds traveled across the stars for the chance to be chosen. This year, the decision belonged to Princess Liara of Zorath. She was only 19 cycles old, but her name was already known throughout the galaxy. Liara was brilliant, fearless, and rumored to possess an intelligence that rivaled the ancient warlords of the past. Whoever she chose would not only protect her, they would become one of the most powerful figures in the galaxy. And so, the greatest warriors gathered. The ceremony took place on Celestara Prime, a massive orbital palace floating above a blue star. The grand arena could hold millions of spectators. Representatives from hundreds of alien species watched from crystal balconies as warriors stood in the center of the arena like statues. Towering reptilian gladiators from the Karnak's dominion. Cybernetically enhanced soldiers from the Hellion Republic. Legendary mercenaries whose names had become myths in space warfare. Each one wore armor decorated with battle honors. Each one had survived wars that destroyed entire star systems. Among them stood a human. His name was Ethan Vale, and he looked completely out of place. He was young, barely 20 years old by Earth standards. His armor was simple compared to the others, a standard Alliance combat suit without trophies or glowing enhancements. Many of the other warriors didn't even acknowledge his presence. One towering alien warrior leaned toward another and laughed. "A human child?" the creature hissed. "Did he get lost on his way to training?" The second warrior chuckled. "Perhaps the Alliance brought him as entertainment." Ethan heard the whispers, but he remained silent. He had faced this kind of doubt before. Humanity was still considered a young species in galactic terms. Most civilizations saw them as inexperienced, unpredictable, and weak. But Ethan wasn't here to prove anything. He was here because the Alliance High Command had sent him, and because someone important believed he belonged here. A sudden ripple moved through the arena. The lights dimmed and golden banners descended from the ceiling. The princess had arrived. Princess Liara stepped onto the central platform, and the entire arena rose to their feet. She wore royal armor forged from white star metal, glowing softly with ancient Zorathian energy. Her long silver hair flowed behind her like starlight, and her calm violet eyes scanned the sea of warriors below. Silence fell across the arena. Liara began to walk slowly along the elevated path that circled the warriors. The ancient ritual required her to observe each candidate carefully before making her choice. As she passed each warrior, massive holographic screens displayed their achievements. One had destroyed an entire pirate fleet. Another had survived combat against the monstrous void beasts of Sector 9. Another commanded a private army of 10,000 soldiers. The crowd roared with excitement as legendary names appeared. But Liara said nothing. She simply continued walking. Minutes passed. Then something strange happened. Instead of stopping at the towering champions in the center of the arena, Liara kept walking, toward the far edge, toward the human. The crowd began whispering. Ethan felt hundreds of alien eyes turning towards him. Even the other warriors looked confused. Princess Liara stepped down from the platform and walked directly toward him. For a moment, he thought she might simply be passing by, but she stopped, right in front of him. The entire arena froze. Liara studied him quietly, her violet eyes calm but incredibly sharp. "You are Ethan Vale," she said softly. Her voice carried through the arena's sound systems. "Yes, Your Highness." A murmur swept across the spectators. Of all the warriors present, this was the least expected conversation. Liara tilted her head slightly. You are the youngest warrior here. Yes. You have the fewest victories. Yes. And yet, she continued, you were personally recommended by the Alliance Supreme Command. The crowd grew louder. That detail was not public. Ethan remained calm. They believed I should come, he replied. Liara looked at him for several seconds. Then she asked something that surprised everyone. Tell me, Ethan Vale, if you stood beside me as my champion and the entire galaxy declared war on Zeroth, what would you do? The question echoed through the arena. Many expected Ethan to give a grand speech, to boast, to promise victory. Instead, he answered simply, I would stand. Liara blinked. Ethan continued, I would stand beside you till the end, even if we lost. The arena fell completely silent. No one expected such a quiet answer, but something about the way he said it carried an undeniable weight. Liara slowly turned and looked out across the arena. She raised her hand. Then she pointed, directly at Ethan. This one. Gasps exploded across the stadium. The youngest human warrior, Liara declared. He will be my champion. For a moment, the entire galaxy fell silent. Even the commentators watching from distant systems stopped speaking. The greatest warriors in existence stood frozen in disbelief. A Karnax warlord roared in anger. This is madness! That human is nothing! Liara turned slowly toward the furious alien. Her expression remained calm. You see weakness. I see something else. She looked back at Ethan. For months, my intelligence network observed every warrior invited to this ceremony. Your victories are few, Ethan Vale, but every battle you fought had impossible odds. The holographic screen suddenly lit up. Clips of Ethan's missions appeared. One showed him rescuing civilians from a collapsing colony. Another showed him holding a defensive position alone while hundreds of soldiers escaped. Another showed him refusing an order that would have sacrificed innocent lives. The arena fell quiet again. You do not fight for glory, Liara said. You fight because you refuse to abandon people. She stepped closer. That is the kind of warrior that protects an empire. The Karnax warlord growled. He is still a child. Liara's voice hardened slightly. No. She looked back at Ethan. He is exactly what the galaxy fears. The alien warriors watched in confusion. Liara continued, humans are young, but they evolve faster than any species we have ever seen. She turned to face the audience. Today, you see the youngest warrior here. Her voice echoed across the stars. But in 10 years, she paused. You may see the most dangerous one. The arena erupted in stunned silence. Ethan himself seemed surprised, but Liara simply smiled faintly. Then she held out her hand. Rise, champion of Zeroth. Ethan hesitated for a second before kneeling. As he stood again, the royal crest of the Zerathian Empire appeared above them in blazing light. A new legend had just begun. Across the galaxy, millions watched the moment. The alien princess had ignored the strongest warriors in existence. Instead, she had chosen the youngest human. And somehow, everyone in the arena felt the same strange thought. Perhaps the princess had not chosen the weakest warrior. Perhaps she had chosen the future. And that is why the entire galaxy had fallen silent.